Welcome to the game room. Yeah, gratitude always mean everything. Gratitude always mean everything. Gratitude always mean everything. Welcome to the game room. Yeah, gratitude always mean everything. Gratitude always mean everything. Gratitude always mean everything. Welcome to the game room. We don't just have.
What's the name of this game again? Riders Republic. Riders Republic. Oh, we on? Pardon me. Put your quarters in the slot, pick your character, and welcome to the game room. I am your host, GSMUZIK. That's GSMUZIK. And today on the game room, we're going to try something a little different. Instead of having somebody come through and share their story with y'all, and, you know, with the hopes of inspiring, or motivating, or just, you know, giving you something inspirational to hear, I'm going to make it a little personal. Let me get one-on-one with y'all, because y'all are my community. And yeah, I got some tips for y'all. This game got me right now. I'm so distracted. And unfortunately, this is how life has most of y'all. We get distracted daily, and we don't never get to the road of a better you. So, let me start with my 5 tips. 1, humility. You got to be very humble in order to get to the better you, because a lot of times we find ourselves either full of ourselves, full of ourselves, or full of ourselves, or just, you know, thinking that we know it all. And that's a big mistake. So let's start with humility. Try not to think of yourself as, how can I say it, as the it. You know what I'm saying? There's too much information out here. There's too much money out here. There's a lot of everything that you still can get. Not to say you need it, but that you still can get. So you never gonna reach that plateau. And you should always feel like that. Yeah, you always striving to do better, and you can always do better. And that's how we gonna keep that. So remember, humility. When someone got some information for you, don't push it off as in you already know that, or, you know, it's not for you. Because something within there might just be for you. It might help you get to that next level. They might not even know themselves that they giving you, you know, that vital jewel, but just listen to it, you know. If you're working at a job, don't think that they're not paying you enough. Because most of the time, we're not doing enough. And let's just be honest with ourselves. Like, there's a lot more we can do. We choose not to, you know. We let a lot of things that shouldn't affect us. And, you know, we do a lot more complaining than actually getting the task done. So, you know, try to think different when it comes to that, you know. And I say humility first out of everything, because if you can't get out of your own way, you know, you're never going to reach that better you. You're always going to see problems, you know. A part of being a better you is solving problems, because we going to have obstacles in our way daily, and a lot of times we need to just accept the challenge, you feel me? Excuse me. Which leads to my number 2, blame. Stop blaming people for the things that ain't going right in your life. Like, no one has control over that. Just because that person ain't want to lend you something, just because that person ain't give you the job, that they're not responsible for your outcome. Like, things ain't guaranteed to be your way all the time, and you got to learn how to accept that. Like, if you fail at something, you failed. If you did something wrong and got caught out there, you did that wrong. Accept that. Like, other people or other functions just had to play the part within that system, and that's just what it is. It's no one's fault but yours. And once you learn to accept that, which leads to you know, growth, then you'll really be on the path to a better you. So remember, humility, learn to get out of your own way, stop thinking you better than or that you know more than you possibly do, and start accepting the fact that there's more information out there for you. Then stop blaming people. And once you start doing that, you'll start seeing that people really don't have nothing to do with your situation. Yeah, they might be helpful, they might play a part, but at the end of the day, it's all on you, the individual, right? Which leads to number 3, fear. Stop allowing other people's fears to be yours. Sometimes you'll be having a master plan. It could be beautiful and you be ready to execute it. Then you share it with an individual who never had that experience, never been through most of the stuff that got you to the point you at that moment. And then they start telling you how it's impossible or how you can't achieve it. Therefore, you start taking that in eternally and start believing that they might be right. But what if I told you they was wrong? What if they had the information you had and they seen it from the perspective you seen it? Would they still have that same answer, or would they see it how you seen it and then explain to you that you might be on to something? Sometimes you just got to get out your own way. Like, face that fear sometimes, because the only thing that's on the other side of that, even if you don't actually reach that goal, is knowledge. Like, you still gonna learn from it. So when you go about it the next time, you'll have more information. You'll have maybe more tools. You know, you'll know where to resource the help, and you'll basically know that process, the process that was unknown to you in the beginning, right? So with those 3 steps, I think you getting there. You're not there yet, but you getting there, you know? Today's episode of The Game Room is brought to you by none other than Pizza Stop. If you happen to be a Harlem native or just love passing through Harlem, stop by. They specialize in New York style pizzas and authentic Italian cuisines with premium quality. All you have to do is hit the link down below, click onto their menu tab, and choose from a selection of pizzas, appetizers, soups, salads, sandwiches, and much, much more. Pizza Stop can be found on 2166 Frederick Douglass Boulevard. That's between 116th and 117th Street.
What up, man?
What's up, baby?
How's everything?
Everything
Good?
good.
Thank you.
Now back to our show. Let's tackle number 4. Right? Stop living above your means. Just because someone else got that new designer outfit, or because they went to this restaurant and post a pic, because they brought that new bag, that new leather, those new Jordans, you know, whatever it may be. Like, if it doesn't fit your equation, it does not fit your equation. Like, do not go outside your means just to accommodate people who really don't give a fuck whether or not you got that. Like, they got it. They did what they wanted to do with their money, with their time, and more than likely they're taking care of a lot more other things that they need to accommodate them spending habits. So, like I said, don't step outside that box if you're not ready for it. It's okay to not have the jewelry. It's okay to not eat out at that restaurant. Sometimes cooking at home is a lot better. Like, you don't always see the chef. You don't always see the service, you know what I'm saying, or what they doing every given second while you sitting there waiting for your food. And that's not to say that they're doing something, because I would hope not. And let's just say, that's just not to say that they're doing anything. But it is to say that you can't see the process. And sometimes you need that. Like, a lot of times we allow social media or just the internet in general to fool us. Like we think that we ask for something or we want to see something and then we see it or we get it, and that's the process. Like we forget that you have to actually go through steps. You have to get there. There are middles to the beginning and the end process. And because of that, because of the trickery, because of the deceiving, because of the obstacle that they, put in our lives, and unfortunately make it so that we have to constantly interact with it, we get blindsided. And I'm trying to shake you out of that. Like, I don't want to say slap you and, slap some sense into you, but for real, it's time that we start waking up. Like, if not for me, because it's all right if you don't want to do it, but for yourself, like, you have to do better. Like, and it's just that simple. Don't say you are doing better, because there's always another level and you have to achieve that. Like, that brings me to number 5. Be careful of the company you keep. And that's not to say just because a person is not doing what you're doing that they're not good, but it's just to say you got to be careful of the information you feed in yourself and the information others is feeding to you, because the mind is actually our worst enemy, and it can trick us. It can have us thinking that we're not successful, we're not doing enough, that we don't need help, and it can be quite the opposite. So be careful of the people that you keep around you, the conversations y'all hold, and so forth, because it's poison. You don't want nobody that's around you telling you you can't do something, you shouldn't do something that's right or beneficial. Let's just say that. Now, if you got people around you that's stopping you from doing things you shouldn't, that's harmful or detrimental to yourself or others, then those are people you need around you. They're actually good people. They're friends. But on the note of what I'm talking about, a better you have to definitely be careful of the information that you share with others and that's being shared into your thinking process, because those are seeds. They're being planted and they will grow. You won't know where it's coming from, but then you'll start taking on these fears and living out, or shall I say, not living out your full potential, but living out the potential of others. Even when asking advice, be very careful of the people you ask advice from, because most people give advice from a selfish point of view. And that's not to say that people are selfish. That's just to say that the information they give you be biased. So they don't really know you, your motives, your morals, your values, your upbringing. They don't know what actually triggered you in that moment to warrant whatever response you gave. They only know what they dealt with in life and the information you provided, which most of the time is not even 100% accurate. A lot of people like to play victim and give out uh, a fairy tale side of the story instead of what actually take place, because a lot of us is afraid to look with inside of ourselves and face those fears. That goes back to what I was saying about the blame. Once we get into that habit of not blaming others for our faults, then the growing process will be that much easier. It's just simple. So, before I even take y'all into finance, how to actually save money, make money, and process it, I had to give you this first. Because if you're not the better you from who you are right now, then you're never going to get to the point of financial freedom. It's just impossible. You know what I'm saying? You got to get past the demons first. Don't forget, humble, which is humility, blame, which is what we need to stop putting on others, and just take accountability for our own actions. Fear, it exists. It's one of the biggest motivators in the world. However, it shouldn't hold you back, hinder you, or be imposed on you from others. You know what I'm saying? Fear is nothing to actually fear, because it always provides what you need: information, sometimes a helping hand, or actually helping you find the real you. Like sometimes we don't even know what we capable of doing until we put into that moment. So, like I said, humility, stop blaming, stop living in other people's fears, stop living above your means, you know? That dinner is not that important as long as you eating. That's the main factor. As long as you eating, it doesn't matter if it came from a 5-star restaurant or someone who put that actual love and care in it from a home. Like I said, that food is actually better, and that's what most of us was raised off of. We wasn't into restaurants when we was younger, so why should it distract us now? And that's not to say don't do it, but do it when it's appropriate. Make sure the situation suits you. Don't live above your means. Come on, people. Do better. This is that role, and you're on it, especially if you're listening. You want that information. And last but not least, be careful of the company you keep and the information they hold, because everybody doesn't want to see you get to that top. And not to say that it's personal, but it's fear that they're facing because they're not capable or in a position to reach that plateau. Sometimes people can see that in you and fear you. You know what I'm saying? Not you, but your capabilities, because they lack it. And it'll come off in a way where you'll feel like it's hate or jealousy or things of that manner, but sometimes it's bigger than you. Like, it could be anybody in that position. It's just the fact that they're close to it and they get to experience it. So, being that is you, you feel it. You understand what I'm saying? But sometimes you just gotta not personalize it and yeah, help them see a better way. Cause remember, everybody is not getting this information. Everybody is not actually on the road to a better you. And a lot of us don't even realize we have issues. So don't point a finger at somebody, you know. Don't look down on them because they're not doing what you're doing or they're not on the same path. Give them a word of advice. If anything, point them in this direction. Let them listen for themselves. Hopefully they get something out of it too. Sometimes it has to be repetitive. You got to beat something in somebody's head. It's a lot of hard-headed MFs out there. You feel me? I was one of them. I had to get out of my own way. And unfortunately, I had to take a lot of bumps and bruises before it actually happened. But it did. And I'm here to say it's never too late. Like, you can get it. It's there for you. You got to want it, though. Stop blaming people and just do it. It's actually more simple to get into it and just do it than not. Than to be sitting there and be wondering what's going to happen. You'll never know until you actually do it. The next person can't even explain it to you because their experience isn't your experience. Your experience would never be their experience. I don't even care if y'all went through it together. They're going to see it a different way than you did. And it's just that simple. So stop worrying about what others think and just focus on you. If you want better, don't talk about it. Do something about it. Motion takes action. You have to get into it. And it's just that simple. You in the game room and you just got some game. It's just that simple. I hope you apply it where you need to. If not, I hope you was entertained. I don't do this normally, but I just might. You never know. And it's over. We finally came to the end of another episode, and we want to thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button, share with a friend, and Who knows? It might be you next time sitting in the seat. Have a good night.